Hello, everybody. It is Monday, the day after my very last live stream. And if you were there with me, you saw me demonstrate Print Prism 150. Why such a big jump? He just made it a fully automatic system, profiling system. All you have to do now, print that chart like you normally would. It's a new chart, by the way, with a much wider black border. You no longer have to trim the edges any longer. Just print it, dry it, pop it into your scanner. Make sure that it is the yellow portion, which is the upper portion, would be then put on the area that would represent up on your scanner. So then proceed with the scanning. Simply press a button, give it a name, boom. Walk away, drink some coffee, tea, have a donut like I normally do. And then when you are done, the profile will be finished. You don't have to click, find corners or anything. Automatic. Now, he still gave you the option to do it full manual method if you're that type of person. Okay. Sometimes I feel like doing that, but I sort of thought, do I really trust this? Well, yeah, I found out that I can indeed trust it. If I wish, I could change the cooldown length of time that the scanner will stop between scans, do from one single scan up to 5 stackable scans, and that means it'll get more and more and more accurate information from that particular chart that you printed and are scanning. So I highly suggest do the 5 scans, give it about 10, 20 seconds. You got up to 60-second cooldown, and it depends on your scanner. So find out what works best for you. I'm using 20 seconds and 5 scans. Once it is done with that, it locates all of the corners. At that point, I check everything. There's a little button you check, and it will shift the image to all 4 areas. And you can see whether the selections were accurately placed or not. More than likely, 99.99% of the time, it is a perfect alignment. You don't have to do anything. At that point, you just kick back, and it will then create the profile. You see the progression bar showing at the bottom. It's amazing. I thought nothing was happening until I took a look. But anyway, that is it. Perfect profiles now. Automatic on top of that. And I recently did a test on my Pro 100 of all things, brand new printer that I set up. I had another one still in box. My original one died after almost 15 years of service. So brand new OEM inks. I did a profile on Print Prism on it, and then I compared 2 images, standard image, one printed with the OEM profile, one printed with the Print Prism profile. The OEM profile printed a slightly warm version. The Print Prism profile printed a absolutely perfect version of it. Neutral. The transition bars, the green bars, there's like 3 of them, almost blended together in the OEM profile, and I could seriously see them perfectly separated. They were not the same color green as they were with the OEM. Go back to my live stream and see that I also made a video prior to that this past week showing exactly what took place. The black to white ramp from 222 to 254 triple, the PP or Print Prism profile showed a slightly wider dynamic range. Something that was absolutely minimal, but still it was able to capture that last little bit of dynamic range, meaning that instead of having the first 3 or 4, 2, 4, 6, 8 block completely, in other words, they all look black, and maybe, 252 to 255 just turn white. No, I had an almost complete ramp. In other words, I could detect on the actual print by backlighting it where each one of those little squares was. And I don't know what else to say. It's just totally amazing. Now, some people say, well, what about the gamut bubble? What about the gamut volume? Which one produces a larger volume? Well, having a larger volume, meaning a bigger bubble, doesn't that necessarily mean accuracy, okay? So I look at accuracy visually. I create a print that I know the way it's supposed to look like because my monitor is so well calibrated. I know that I am displaying it correctly. I look at it and then I compare it to the print. And if it almost matches my monitor, how much better can you get? You will never outperform the monitor. The print is always, absolutely 1000% always going to create a slightly less rendition of that brightly lit, backlit, display of that image. So you want it to be color matched. You want it to be the right brightness. It's not going to look darker than your monitor. It's not going to look brighter than your monitor. That means your monitor is set correctly. So once you have that nailed down, then you can just look at your results and make a comparison between the two, OEM versus Print Prism. Yeah, it's crazy. $35, DDIsoftware.com. Check it out. If you already own an 8550 or a G620 or one of many other Epson, mostly all-in-one printers, and there's a couple of standalone scanners that are supported. They have to have an LED light source. That's why some of the older, like the V version of Epson scanners, are not really included because they use an incandescent light bulb for that. So that's the reason for that. Don't feel bad. Okay, I know I did. But anyway, once you have one of those printers with a scanner, that's it. You're all set. $35 gets you the software. And I'll be frank with you, and I don't want to tell that to anybody. I have a $1,500 X-Rite i1 Pro 2 collecting dust now. My Color Monkey is in a drawer in one of my cabinets. I don't need that anymore. I really don't. On the weekend live stream this past Sunday, I showed you guys everything. And I went ahead and then printed two creations. Well, one creation of mine and one creation of Richard Bender on metallic, I think it was metallic luster from Red River and platinum gloss from Canon on the 8550. And the results were bellissimo or bellissimo in Italian. I couldn't complain. And I think everyone, even viewing it through the result of my cheap $99 little webcam, they were amazed at what I was able to achieve. And Mike Chaney was watching. That's the really cool part. Oh, by the way, I went ahead and wrote the paper name and all the information on the front of the print on that white border that now I don't have to trim off. And Mike was very worried that the software would have an issue scanning that with that written description. Zero issues. It scanned it perfectly. So now he knows that you can indeed add your description to the front of the actual print and not on the back, which I really don't have the patience to be flipping back and forth to check which one it is. So that is also good news. Now, someone suggested, I'll leave you guys with this. And if this comes out, again, it's just going to be, oh my God, yeah, an award should be given to this person. Somebody suggested, will you be able to print the chart through the Print Prism profile software? Normally, you have to use QImage. He is thinking about that. And knowing him, he's probably going to find a way to allow you to, through Print Prism itself, that $35 software, to be able to then choose a printer or the same printer your scanner lives in and print that chart directly from inside the Print Prism software. We will see. I can only pray this actually happens, because it will then be an award winner. Okay? All right, that's it. The kids are almost getting ready to stop. It's not that hot outside, 53 degrees, so I know they're not suffering too much like me. All right, so we'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this I can't even talk. Enjoy this little quickie live stream on the spot. Again, I will be doing this anytime I have to pick up Nathan and I have to sit here and wait. I'm watching them play at the same time, but this gives me time to do something a little bit different than the normal video sitting in front of my computer. So that is it for now. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Catch the weekend live streams. That's where I will have all the goodies. This weekend we'll have Richard Bender. He's going to teach us how to do HDR photography with a Nikon D300, which I happen to have. So I will have my camera and I'll follow his instructions live this coming Sunday at noon Eastern time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.